Welcome back to the Conversations with Cacao podcast, a space where we gather in remembrance, sip with intention, and let the medicine of cacao and story guide us home. Today, I am honored to introduce a radiant soul and devoted space holder, Stephanie Smedile. A seasoned yoga teacher and coach, Steph opened her practice during the pandemic to help others find their true north and step into their soul's mission. For over a decade, cacao has been a sacred ally in Steph's life. And for the past 5 years, she's deepened her relationship with this ancient plant through apprenticeship and ceremony. In 2022, her devotion took root in the form of Sacred Sips Cacao, a heart-led brand sharing ethically sourced Guatemalan cacao with integrity, reverence, and care. Steph's mission is clear: to help open the hearts of the masses while creating brave, nurturing spaces where every emotion is welcome. In today's conversation, we explore her journey, the spirit behind Sacred Sips, and how cacao continues to inspire connection, healing, and purpose. So pour yourself a cup, soften into presence, and enjoy this nourishing conversation with Stephanie Smedile. Welcome back to the Conversations with Cacao podcast. I'm here today with Steph Smedile from Sacred Sips Cacao, and there is already such beautiful energy beginning to flourish and grow. So before we even dive into our conversation, taking this time to begin to center into ourselves, into our bodies, into our vessels, into presence, so that we may begin to feel and understand these frequencies that are around us, that are moving through us all the time, and that we may begin to listen at a deeper level, allowing the messages that your soul is craving to hear, may they stand out like a bright beacon for you. And as we begin to just gently relax the mind, moving from the doing into simply being, moving from the wanting to the state of gratitude of already having, and moving from the state of our energy and the past, the future, the parallel, and moving our mind and heart into the present, that we may feel the resonance of I am here now. Taking a deep, deep breath in, a nice deep belly breath all the way down into the hips. Exhaling out on sound. Allowing that jaw to open, the tension from our necks that we hold so much in, just rolling that out. Taking another deep breath in. Exhaling out on sound. And feeling this connection to our breath, to our voice, to the activation of our voice within ourselves. The magic and the power that we hold within us. And allowing our sit bones, our hips to open wide as we soften down, connecting into the heart of Mother Earth, feeling the beautiful energy of Mother Earth beginning to flow up with this loving energy, filling your feet, filling your legs, your knees, filling your hips, filling your lower chakras, your lower energetic points, all the way up into your heart, and allowing this beautiful Gaia energy to fill your heart space, feeling that nourishment, allowing ourselves to be nourished in this moment, and then rooting up from our heart, through our crown, all the way up towards the heart of the sky, rooting up towards the heart of the sun, the moon, the stars, the cosmic wisdom, the cosmic deities, the light energies that live there, the winds, the breath of life, and beginning to breathe this energy down in through our crown, feeling our connection, our nobility, our humility beginning to open us up as we just receive, knowing that we are worthy, knowing that there is nothing we need to do, nobody we need to be in this moment other than ourselves. Just opening up to receive, knowing that you are loved, you are enough, you are worthy, and allowing this energy to begin to flow into your eyes so that you may see your worthiness, flowing into your ears so that you may hear kind words that are spoken to you and really allow them in. Flowing this energy into your mouth that you may speak kindly to yourself, to your loved ones, and bringing this energy down into the throat, that any stories that we hold that really don't serve our love, serve the kindness of self, that self-compassion, may this light just, wiggle it away. And if you want to give your shoulders a little wiggle to help facilitate that movement, and bringing this energy down through the arms, through the hands, activating the hands of light, breathing it down in through the chest, through our spine, our inner organs, letting our inner organs light up, letting our heart light up, our ribs light up, these places that we sometimes forget about, we don't really pay too much attention to. Just allowing the light there, the love there, the presence. Breathing this energy into your hips for deep softening, knowing that in this moment you are safe. During this conversation you are held, and that what is spoken, guided by Mama Cacao, is here for you, for your highest good always. And allowing yourself, if you wish to place one hand on your heart, to really activate this heart space that we're going to play in today. Feeling the expansion all around your body as we just beam our love to our current listeners, our present listeners, beaming our love to our guest, Steph, and feeling yourself receiving that love as you give that love, and then beaming our love to our previous listeners, and feeling the love from the previous listeners, and then beaming that love to our future listeners, and seeing this beautiful web that we're creating right now, right here. And allowing for a few moments, deep breath, connection, receptivity. And today we have the honor of Steph guiding a blessing of Mama Cacao for us.
So beautiful. Thank you for that. Ooh, I needed that more than I realized. All right, beautiful soul and souls present with us. Let's take our cup of cacao, bring it right in front of the heart. Take a deep inhale through the nose, filling up the lungs, and out through the mouth. Another deep inhale. Deep exhale. Last one, inhaling fully together. Exhale, releasing out. Falling into your own natural pattern of breathing here. Building that internal connection within yourself, within this spirit of cacao that is already so present here. Allowing the electromagnetic frequency of the heart to begin to pulse and expand outward in every direction. Breathing here. communing and connecting deep within the heart space. Calling on the spirit of cacao to enter into our space on a more intimate level. Asking the sweet ancient plant medicine to guide us, to open up our hearts even wider into unconditional love. Asking for us to become sensitive to the subtle energies that want to work with us. Opening up the heart space even wider, expanding, expanding, expanding. Activating the senses here, feeling the warm cacao in your mug, feeling the warmth on the chest, on the heart. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Dissolving any obstacles in front of the heart, holding you back from full expansion, full receptivity. Take another deep breath in, deep breath out. Really nice. And then lifting the cup right at the throat, opening and activating the throat chakra, calling on the spirit of cacao to be present here, to guide our expression through voice, through song, through sound. May it be expressed through unconditional love, now and forevermore. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, expanding through the throat chakra, allowing us to speak our truth clearly and succinctly with power and purpose. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And slowly starting to hum here, just bringing some movement, some activation into the throat. And then gently lifting the cup up to the third eye. Taking a deep breath in here. Opening and activating the third eye center, the seat of our intuition, our psychic sight. Clearing any veils, clearing any obstacles from us clearly seeing truth. Calling on the spirit of cacao to enter in to this portal of wisdom. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Another deep inhale, deep exhale, expanding even wider. And then dropping the cup back down to the lap, taking your 2 pointer fingers, bringing the fingers right along the rim of the mug. This is one of my favorite practices, helping to activate the senses through the sense of touch, in addition to the warmth. Really casting a spell, supercharging your cacao, activating all of the ancient codes, activate our dormant DNA to fully be expressed here, infusing this intention into our cacao so that we may live out loud. We may live our full mission and expression here in this incarnation. Deep breath here. Deep activating exhale. Beautiful job. Cupping your mug, bringing it up to the nose, smelling the chocolatey notes, activating the sense of smell. Smelling any of the secondary plant allies here. I have quite a few in my cup today. Cardamom, vanilla, cayenne, cinnamon, ginger. Breathing here. Grounding deeper into your body through the senses, fully activating and igniting the heart, opening and enlivening each cell of your body. And then dropping the cup down to the lips, whispering an intention into the cup. My intention for today and for all of you is to experience and to be an example of unconditional love. Infusing this cacao with unconditional love as it already is so present in cacao. Opening our hearts to receive unconditional love. Opening our minds to forgiveness, to showing up in a loving way in every direction, in every relationship, especially with ourselves. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And I invite you to take a sacred sip. Tasting our beautiful cacao, going on an inward journey here. And as you continue to sip throughout the call, I just want to sing a beautiful activation as we enter into a relationship with the cacao. So activating and calling on the spirit of cacao to sing one of my favorite invocations. Cacao Sita, Cacao Sita, Cacao Sita, Cacao Sita. La medicina, Cacao Sita, Cacao Sita, Cacao Sita. Cacao Sita, la medicina.
Thank you so much for this beautiful space that you took us within. So many things that I've never done before in the cacao blessing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Very so unique, and it's such an honor to have received that and been guided through that. And as soon as I moved my cup from my heart to my throat. I'm like, why have I never thought to hold my cup here? I'll hold it in front of my third eye, my womb, my heart. But the activation, as soon as I moved my cup right towards the throat, all of the energy around there began to stir. And then, powerful priestess that you are, all the energy that was moving, I moved it to my third eye, and the yawning, like the clearing, and that started happening, and your voice and the song was so, so beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure. There was something so my guides have been very adamant about me singing regularly. And just to bring it into sacred space and to ceremony, really using my voice to sound and to song. And a little backstory, I used to be painfully shy. When I was a child, I would, just really have a hard time being seen. And so I speak of unconditional love, and I really have been on a journey of loving my voice into fullness and being able to share that without all of the mental turmoil that it would bring. It's a beautiful journey, and I love to sing for new friends, and especially with Cacao, it's kind of a non-negotiable. And she loves song. Cacao loves song. So I have a few little one of my friends calls that like my love song with Cacao, because it's deep. Like there's some depth there, and that's how the heart is. There's we always think of love as this happy, fluffy emotion. And again, unconditional love is fierce. It's not just ooey gooey. Like it is mama lion fierce. Like I will do anything, lay my life down for these cubs, like that type of fierceness. So that's what I feel with that song, especially that incantation. And it's just so beautiful that that's what wanted to come up today. I'm so glad you can receive it.
Yes, fully. And I still feel it moving through me, and of what is wanting to be stirred. It's already started so deep. We've gone right in. And I love that you bring into conversation the relationship to unconditional love and how that starts, within the aspects of ourselves that we sometimes reject or are the harshest on. And I haven't thought about this in a really long time, but I remember in 5th grade or 6th grade, there was a teacher who was explaining what unconditional love was. And I remember in class being like, this doesn't make sense. Like, this doesn't feel right. I'm not quite getting it. And then I was feeling like, even in that class, I'm like, I don't think you really get it. Like, I don't think you understand. And now I can discern it and feel, I'm like, oh no, you were just describing a different aspect of conditional love, and the conditional love that we are so used to receiving from our parents, from our loved ones, from our family. And through the work that I've began to do as in the priestessing lineages and with Cacao, and recognizing the work with, Kuan Yin, who I have behind me here, the power that she holds of what true compassion is, what true unconditional love, and Kali, the fierceness to tear everything down so that only love prevails. And maybe we'll go into the story of Kali later, but I love also always mentioning like Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion, of deep unconditional love. Her animals aren't a bunny or, a little deer. It's a dragon and a tiger. Like,
Oh yeah.
She rides a dragon. It is a fierceness to cut through the illusion and the illusions that keep us from love.
Yes. All of it is so true. I was getting such goosebumps. I call it my truth radar. When my body's just like, yes, she knows. It's so inspiring. Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And compassion goes hand in hand with fierce, unconditional love because it's hard. Like it's a challenge as a human, you know. It's definitely that's why the ascended masters are here teaching us, because it is so hard. Yeah, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that we have all these beautiful examples.
When I started working with Cacao first, I always used to call her my cup of compassion because
Oh,
she would really just start to cut the illusions that I was holding and really showing me, no, no, no. Okay, you can cry now, but now it's time to get up. And now it's time. This is what's compassionate towards self. It's not doing these things that are actually harming you. What's most compassionate at this time feels a little bit like tough love sometimes, or it feels like, oh, that doesn't feel loving because, like you said, it doesn't feel ooey gooey warm. It's like, oh no, there's this deeper energy that's wanting to emerge because when we start to grow, when we start to really come towards the boundaries of self and recognize, wait, is this actually real? Is this really me or is this the illusion of me? And how can I move beyond that? And what is beyond that? And yeah, the guidance here or whatever you believe in, or for our listeners, if it's, God, the universe, universal creation, your own source energy, deities and guides. Like even this morning I was sitting with my cup of cacao, like, okay, just help me. Like, earth is really hard. Like, I don't know. And trying to call upon unconditional love, and I'm like, okay, but I don't want to. I don't want I want to be conditional right now. Okay. And then, letting it be that, and then allowing the space for this magic to weave in right now, the conversation that we're having of like, okay, yes, I can let go of that attachment. Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing because I've also been feeling, I've just been wavering in my trust in the divine. I have a very, for our listeners, just wanted to share that I have like a very divine, angelic view on heaven and all the holy things, divinity, spirituality. Um, I find comfort in the angelic descriptions of them, but I've just been feeling really challenged in my own journey of trusting because things have gotten really hard. And I've been really blessed all this way to this moment in my life to have things come very beautifully and gracefully. And this transition from the island to the mainland US has really rocked me to my core, and it's brought me to those stickier emotions and that depth that really is uncomfortable for people to talk about, and especially to speak about publicly. Like, it's just kind of understood that you don't really go there. And I think there's so much movement now in our culture that is starting to break that stigma, and you really are more welcome to feel the heavier emotions. And it's just so important for evolution. Like, that's what I'm realizing. Like, this is such a gift that I've been broken so extensively. My heart's been cracked open, in ways that I couldn't even imagine. And it's all for my benefit. And that takes a really compassionate place to see that, um, because it does hurt. It hurts a lot. And I think a lot of people are hurting right now. Um, and that's something that I want to speak because you're not alone. Humanness is really hard more times than not. And that's by design. And it's so important to know that we're not alone in our hurt and our pain and suffering. And that's what the catalyst is to evolve. Like, we contract to expand. And that's been so real for me these last couple months. Yeah, and I'm finding more safety in this place, knowing that so many others are feeling similar feelings of grief or sadness or depression. Like, these are so common in our world, yet no one's talking about them. And I mean, we're starting to. and and I think it's so important to really shed light on how, cacao is a great catalyst for transformation. And our heart is, I call it a recalibration chamber of just like plugging and chugging these frequencies into more unconditional love and evolution of our souls. And it's powerful. And it's why we're here. I think a lot of the reason why we come to planet Earth is like to evolve and to learn and to feel. We're here to feel the full range of emotions. I'm a huge advocate for living a very pleasurable life, and that I don't want to skirt past that there is pain as well that's here for us as a gift, as a blessing. It's been such a journey.
If you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit of your background and where you are right now. I know you mentioned you moved from the island to Northern America. But just for our listeners who want to get to know you a little bit more so they have some more context in the physical.
Yeah. So my husband and I, we lived on St. Thomas, which is a U.S. Virgin Island in the Caribbean, for the last almost 6 years. And when we were living there, before we moved there, I was a postpartum doula. I was working 12 to 24-hour shifts with newborns, and was just getting super burnt out. It's it's a really beautiful time in a family life, and it's a short time, like it's only the postpartum era is only a couple months to a couple years, and I was really in that work for an extended period of time, and I was just starting to hit a breaking point. And then this island opportunity came up, and I actually said yes before my now husband did, and it was his work opportunity that led us down there, which I think is so funny. And down on the island, my whole soul came online. I was so blessed to meet these incredible, we call them sister goddesses, and mentors and friends, and just so many people on the path to pull me out of my shell. I mentioned that I was super shy, and they just helped me to fall in love with myself, to align with a spirituality that I felt I've never connected with before. That's like a whole different topic, but like it just opened up my eyes to what is possible as a full expression of yourself. And so much magic, so many magical containers and experiences and events. And I was just so blessed. And even the land there was it was just so welcoming to expansion. And again, like I've never really felt anything like that before. So I just soaked it all up like a big sponge, and expanded and fully expressed like my love for myself, for this wisdom that I was encountering. And and I fell in love with the people, the land, the ocean, the moon. We could see the moon was like as bright as the sun. Like when the moon would rise and the sun would set, you'd be like, oh, which way should we look? Like they're both so mind-blowingly gorgeous. So there's just so many qualities that I loved about the island. And we ended up moving off island, obviously, for a few different reasons. And I just never expected to feel the way I felt here when we landed. We did an extensive like goodbye tour. I like made sure we had plenty of opportunities to, say goodbye because that was part of the process. And I really thought that I was going to be okay to transition. And I just really wasn't. I was so sad for so long, like probably 3 to 4 months, just in this deep depression. And it really taught me, it really showed me how a lot of other people have felt, like whether through the pandemic, like just losing a loved one, losing a job, like all of the loss that can happen when you attach, and when you're opening your heart to something or someone. Yeah, it just was so intense. And it was a really deep call for me to reorient my heart to what is true and what is real. Because I put a lot of my identity to being an islander, and that stripped me of my identity. Like that was such a deep loss, and really needing to put myself back together has been the greatest gift, and it is actually, I kind of reinvented myself on the island when we first moved there because I was a little burned out. Similar place, like just needing a change, whatever. And then I ended up like being a yoga teacher and building these businesses, and so much happened on a 3D level and a 5D level down there, and it was just so incredible. And now I'm blessed with that opportunity again to be like stripped and have a fresh start, which again I think is pretty rare for people, but it's such an incredible opportunity to refocus on who you are and what you're really wanting in this life. It's so precious, and we get so wrapped up in life.
Yeah. I feel like the space of now you've had the experience of who you were before and then who you became on the island, and now it's like both versions of self. Now you come back to the space, like that homecoming, the returning home, and now it's a choice point. It's no longer by default, but it's that active, oh wait, these qualities live within me, I know them. And I think that's really powerful, bringing it back to like the hero's journey of Joseph Campbell, of leaving the home. You have to go out, you have to go into the initiations, moving through the caves that to find yourself, to find the truth, and then you return home with all the wisdom that you've acquired through all the initiations that you've been through to find self and bring this gift back. And yeah, very, very powerful. Not an easy journey, though. It was not an
And
easy
it's
journey.
one that like you wouldn't choose for yourself because it is hard, but when it's presented to you, well, I mean, we did choose to leave, so it's just so funny how things work out. But now, yeah, exactly like you said, like I feel so much more whole than I did down there because I was associating everything that I was with external sources. And now I realize like, oh, I have the power to wield all of these things that I thought were external. And that's just incredible. It's an incredible feeling. Um, yeah, it's it's such a gift.
I'd love to know how you came to work with Cacao
Mm,
and how Cacao has woven her way into your life.
yeah, yeah, it's so special. um, my first cacao experience was over a decade ago in Mexico, and we were like in the jungle. There's almost 500 people there. It was like a huge experience, and I just remember. I mean, the whole ceremony was powerful, but I just remember the moment when all of us owned. We all sounded, and I swear the vibration of that Om shook the planet. Like it just kind of rippled and woke up, like just awakened a lot of us, and it just shifted the frequency of the planet. And yeah, from then on, I just kind of felt there was such a seed planted, and then life happens. And I was reconnected with Cacao on the island through a friend. And that was really incredible just to kind of have more of an intimate relationship. And I was working with Cacao regularly at that point, and we were doing like breath works and just really powerful shifting experiences coupled with Cacao. And I was like, this is definitely this is my life now. Like there's no going back. This is going to be like a forever thing, a relationship. So I just felt so in love, and I felt so comfortable with Cacao. I mean, I think, yeah, I'll just say I just felt so safe and comfortable with Cacao because she has such a loving, motherly energy. She has similar energy that I feel I have. Like it's very, it's welcoming and it's warm, yet potent. Like very, very strong and powerful if you're willing to go there. There's such a beautiful consent with Cacao, I find, being a subtle plant medicine. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I felt so aligned with it from the very beginning. So I began to really dive in, like just, I say that I apprenticed with the plan, and that's what it was. I would attend ceremony with her like almost every day for about 2 years. And during that time, I really found so many more pockets of my heart that I just kind of didn't care to access earlier. And then I would get these intense downloads. Like there would just be such fierce clarity in my meditations with Cacao. And it was so powerful. Again, because I opened up to the plan. And yeah, I look back on those days so fondly, and because it was just like, like early dating, I feel like it's just, you'd never forget those moments of like awe and wonder and just full awakening and expansion, like in this new way through your heart, like it's a very personal journey, but I felt the mentorship so strongly. Yeah, and then I got this message of Sacred Sips, and the way that Sacred Sips came to be is just so so beautiful and seamless. It really is. Like it just came through me, and everything happened so seamlessly afterwards. But before Sacred Sips, I was starting to lead ceremonies, and I was distributing Cacao to others in my community, and just kind of growing the awareness of this incredible ally for people who I thought were really ready to go there. And then Sacred Sips came through, and I was like, wow, this could really change the game. And because I have a lot of friends who are young moms and just are, they're doing so much. And what was really coming through with the mission of Sacred Sips is to have the people who are already in contract with the Cacao, like really have them be able to access it, like cut out all the logistics and just give them what they need and like really meet them where they are. So that's what Sacred Sips is. It's so, we call it ritual ready because it's so beautiful and super user friendly to enjoy. And yeah, so that's been its own movement of, creating a community around Cacao, and Cacao loves community. So we give her what she wants. And yeah, it's just been such a gift to share this message and medicine.
That is really beautiful, and the whole journey, um, taking it all in. And I have very similar experience as well. First working with Cacao and like my daily ritual with her, and like the opening up the channel, just like these downloads and understandings and love and healing and just all this movement, and very, very special sacred time. And the teachers that came in at that time too, as well. It's really, really beautiful. Do you create a community for new mothers? Is that part of like what you hold for that?
Um, I I would love to, because I have such a such a background in, postpartum work. And um yeah, not yet. We yeah, we just have our product, and we hold I try to do ceremonies like wherever I am in communities, and also virtually for our sacred squad, who's like our tight knit team. And yeah, it's just a beautiful way to just create that ripple.
Oh, I love that. And my mind already went into different potentials. I'm like, because I'm a trained doula as well. I did a hypnobirthing teacher, and I did hypnobirthing with my daughter as well. And I loved it so much that I went to get my certification with them. And just the people that I know, and I'm like, we need to like create a Cacao doula alliance and like just create some sort of web like that. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
Sacred birth
And I
keepers
know,
align.
yes. And I love, I'm not sure how much you're familiar with this aspect too, but I know that cacao is really used by the midwives, especially with the Mayan tradition. There's a big connection to cacao and womb healing and the feminine lineage, because cacao is seen as is seen as the feminine fruit. And for some of our listeners who might not be aware, I think it's so fun that cacao is actually pollinated at night, and
Night
corn
magic.
is pollinated during the day. Corn grows upright in this, and cacao grows down towards the earth. And I love the kind of duality in that sense of deepening in the mystery, in the darkness, and then growing that heart, extending the heart towards the earth. And just the metaphor how these plants grow and what they do for our bodies and what they do for our spirit.
I think there's no coincidence that Cacao is just taking her place on the main stage nowadays, because there's such an awakening in women happening. And it's a call to reconnect with your cycle, and like destigmatize like all the things around our periods, and like have, just connecting on a deeper level with the womb, and coming into like our full power as women. There's so much to be remembered and to be felt. And cacao is like ready at the ready to just bring women to their fullest. Um, and it's so incredible. I see it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is that ripple. It feels like what you described in that Om, that shaking of the earth. And it's like, yeah, it's time. Let's wake up. Come on. We got this. Let's get in our bodies, in our vessels, and activate the power that we have within us. And I'm really curious to know from your perspective, and I know you mentioned you had a lot of beautiful teachers and people around you, an amazing community in the Caribbean that really helped cultivate this really rich soil for you. And I'm curious about the receptivity and the awareness of cacao there versus the awareness and receptivity of cacao where you currently are.
There was such a big community, like a great large spiritual community on the island. And there was so much, there were so many people who who, came in contract with Cacao and just would work with her regularly, and it was so beautiful. And I was really lucky to just kind of step into that and just be among such a community that already greatly respected her and worked with her. Even kids, like I've led children cacao ceremonies. It's just part of. It was a really beautiful way of life down there. And here, it's definitely it's different. There aren't many people who are aware, and yeah, and I feel like that's another huge reason why I needed to leave the island, was because there's so much that I gleaned from all of that juiciness of our community, and just it's time to take those nuggets of wisdom and start planting them all around the world in these places that really are needing more of a strong sense of community and heart coherence. Yeah, but it's definitely there's a lot of opportunity here, I'll say, to grow.
I feel just from the little I know of where you are and the energy of that space that it is very similar to where I am, and I'm on Long Island in New York, and the the energetics of this place is it's very interesting. There's the land is beautiful. We're surrounded by the oceans. We have these beautiful. I have these beautiful oak trees outside my window, and but I find it really challenging because it's. I feel like the veil of forgetting is really really thick here, and I have to really maintain my own space really consciously. Otherwise, you know, I get swept up in the energies around me, and coming back to practice, every day sitting with myself and finding that resonant pillar within me of like, okay, oh, there it is. Yeah, that feels good, and just emanate. Just emanate. That's all I need to do at this point. But I find it challenging moving through life here. And that's why I kind of gravitate more towards the virtual space where I have global community, where I can connect with beautiful souls like you and share these deep conversations, because I find it very challenging where I'm living right now. And yeah, I know it's probably my perspective and energy too, resisting that a little. I acknowledge that. But yeah, I'm not.
It's so true, and that resonates so deeply with me. And I was talking to my island goddesses, and it was almost like I was writing like war letters to them. I'm like, the people here, blah, they don't want to listen, and all these things. And of course, it's such a perception of what I'm seeing, and the more that I put myself out there, the more I realize people are ready. Like in this seemingly harsh, dense, energetic, people are ready. Like they feel it too, and they're so eager to learn another way. That's what I've been overwhelmingly seeing that, and it's inspiring, and it makes me feel so happy that I am here, because I always love saying that I love being the first encounter of cacao for people, because it's just um, it's not intimidating. I think people get really nervous about things that they don't really understand, or things they can't see or perceive. And, having it being a plant medicine, people are like, oh, am I going to hallucinate? Like, what the hell? And it's just like, yeah, well, it's, it's a subtle plant medicine, but it's super powerful when you're open and ready to receive her fullness. Um, so I've just kind of been loving this, like, ooh, like, how can I entice some of these people who aren't familiar or are very new to like spirituality or yoga, even? Like, just how can I tap into, like, make a connection, like, get a foot in the door, and then slowly start to open them up, and it's, it's part of why I'm here. I know that. And And I too kind of shied away at the beginning because my heart was broken too. I needed to tend to myself. And now I'm like, okay, this is the mission. Like, I need to take this big smile and like go out into the world and make people feel safe because they're going through things and they need tools just as much as I needed tools when I was hurting. And I have a lot of resources to give. And it's not fair for me to stand on this side knowing all this and not, like not create that veil of separation. Like we're all the same and we're all here to help each other. So once I really aligned with that truth, everything kind of started to shift and there were so many new possibilities and opportunities that came in my door. And I was like, okay, and we're off. Here we go. So yeah, but it's tough. It's tough to put yourself out there when you feel so strongly about something, and people don't really get it at first, that's tough.
What do you find has been the most effective way for people who are maybe new to cacao or don't know it at all, that you make that initial bridge? Is there something that you've noticed? It's like, oh, this is what helps people.
Yeah. I love coupling cacao with like yoga. Like I love teaching a yin and cacao class where we'll do a little meditation in the beginning and then just kind of drop them. I love teaching yin again because it's gentle and it's safe and nourishing. So I want people to feel good. Like I want them to leave being like, wow, that felt great. I will go back and do that again because it's not necessarily my job to cultivate their relationship with cacao. She's going to do her part and I trust her fully with that. I just feel like I need to get them in the door. So having something that is a little more well known or an easier yes for them. I also do a lot of like cacao and sound baths or yeah, just I like to couple. I yeah, I do a few other like juicier offerings as well. Like I did a Kundalini cacao class, which is
Very
so
activating.
powerful. So amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So I think making it easily accessible for them and having it be a simple yes so that they can experience it themselves has been really helpful.
I think the way that you explain that really helped me, and I think it's a beautiful perspective that takes a lot of pressure off of, or it allows it. It's like a new perspective that allows me to be a little bit more creative with it, which is that sense of like all I have to do is just figure out how to get them in the door,
Mm-hmm.
because the rest is going to unfold.
Yeah.
And just that for me, that lensing in space of okay, that seems like a more manageable task of like there are actionable steps I can take around that. Like, and then taking action on that instead of sometimes I know for myself personally is like going and leaning too heavily on in the feminine, in the inaction, in the beingness and cultivating the energetics, which is super important, but then also respecting the fact that I am in the physical and I haven't yet mastered the energetics to create and attract exactly what I want at that time. You know, if what's it called, where things just appear out of thin air. I haven't quite mastered that yet, so there is still that space where I have to move through the world and take action. And for me, especially diving into the feminine work over the past years, it's kind of been like a pendulum, where growing up in this hustle society where it's go, 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 you have to do this, you have to do that, keep yourself busy, working, like I worked like 8 jobs at one point, being a single mom, and it's like going, going, going until finally like crashing and burning. And then the pendulum swung in the complete opposite direction where it's like, okay, now just totally in the feminine, in the void, empty, in the mystery, and then recognizing, wait, there is a sacred third here, and I have to meet both sides I can't just live in one extreme. There has to be this intermarriage that begins to happen. And I'm still finding that within me. I still find myself oscillating a little bit too far in the extremes that I would like, where it's all right. I got my coffee days because I do like that, the energy that it gives me and getting stuff done, and I feel super productive. And then after that, it's like, all right, now I'm in my yin day. And having that space of recognizing what is a healthy balance within me of merging the aspect of the masculine within me and the aspect of the feminine. And I'm not sure if that's something that you relate to within yourself or could speak on from your own experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I love that. Thank you for speaking that into our conversation, because it's such a powerful piece of being a light leader, like showing up in a powerful way. There is such a balance that needs to happen. Again, I used to be very shy. And like I remember my first yoga classes that I taught, I was like sweating profusely, like so nervous. And just, I remember calling out a few times, and my friends owned the studio and they're like, Steph, what's happening here? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. But it's just, I think it comes back to just, yeah, like really honoring your cycle. I think that has a lot to do with it. Like you're connecting to your womb, and like when you're ovulating, you're like, yes, I'm here, come see me. I'm holding these events and it's going to be amazing and I'm going to be, my fullest self. And then when you're on your bleed, or, in the other stages, and you're not really feeling yourself, honoring that and really getting to know those energetics of like, it's a pattern, like it's consistently changing. So the more you can get on board with your own cycle, then you can navigate the masculine better, because your feminine is grounded and held and supported in her way that she needs you. So and it's ongoing. I don't think we'll ever like check balance masculine and feminine. Like it's never that, because life happens and we're always given these opportunities to really come into alignment. And I think there's a really powerful way to balance that with ease and grace. I took a really beautiful course in the heart of the pandemic, like early 2020. And it was about balancing your feminine and masculine energies within business. And it blew my mind how powerful these teachings were. And it just resonated so much because I'm so in my feminine as well. I'm obviously like a feminine dominant person. However, I am triple fire in my astrology chart. So I have that go, go, go energy. And I'm a manifesting generator and human design. Like there's that piece of energetic output there as well. But I never really got on board with like how to express that. It took a while for me to learn healthy ways, because I'm also a very extreme person and like all or nothing kind of gal. But yeah, it's always a practice of coming home to yourself. And also a lot of nervous system healing techniques have helped me tremendously, because I would get into a pattern of like, I would exert output when I felt that nervous energy of like, it's time. It's been long enough. Like I need to do something. And that wasn't the energetic I wanted to show up in. Yeah. And those were beautiful offerings. And again, like have fond memories of all of the things that I've done. And hindsight is 2020. And I noticed that like the more burnout and the more I felt mattered, like I would be exhausted after these events or these programs that I would do. And I realized and committed to embodying like I can feel good and do all the things that I want to do. I don't have to sacrifice myself because I want to be in my masculine, you know? And I think that's a really toxic loop that a lot of women get into, because it's like innately we want to nurture and rest, and just open up to the wisdom. And this culture is not welcoming to that. Um, and it's been such a hard journey for me too. I still question, like, should I just get a real job? This entrepreneur stuff, like, really doing it, or should I just throw it all away and get a 9 to 5? Like, that still
How I
lives in
feel
my
every
head.
day.
It's yeah, and that I think serves me too, because you don't become super strong in something until you have to defend it over and over and over and over again. So I feel really strongly, and I know that it is such a strong, like, it's a challenge to to toggle between your feminine, masculine energy. And there's another technique of, like, creating your sacred schedule, which is more of like an elemental approach around, like, when you have the fire energy throughout the day, and, like, really maximizing around that. So there's just a lot of different nuanced ways that you can try on and see, like, what works for you. And that's, it's kind of fun too.
Yeah, that sounds very fun. And I think we're entering, or a lot of us are, well, yeah, our world is, we're interfacing with our world in a new way. So a lot of female entrepreneurs that I'm seeing, and also male, choosing to do it differently. And with that comes practice and trial and error and new economic systems emerging and what's actually working. How do we make sure that everybody's being respected in this cycle? How am I showing up for myself and in mission in my full being? But then also, zooming out and recognizing, wait, this is very new. this We're still coming out of this really strong cycle that still lives on our earth. And from the conditioning of our expectations that were placed upon us, of the grading system that I think most of us experience during school systems, and you have to give what's expected. It's not, oh, that wasn't the assignment, so what's the assignment, and then just producing that. And now I think a lot of us, or I can speak for myself, there's a lot of unlearning that for myself as an adult, and being a mother, and I unschooled and homeschooled with my daughter for a while too. Now she goes to the Waldorf school, so there is more structure there, but still recognizing the space where, like, I don't even feel super comfortable with that, because there's still so much input where it's like, really, no, I'm still figuring out my joy, what I want, what I'm creating, what is my voice, and if, and unlearning the knee-jerk reaction to just give somebody what they want. It's like, oh, well, I'll give it, I'll tell me the instructions and I'll do it. And now it's like, all right, we have to create the instructions. And we're creating a new world based on the instructions we're generating. Is that making sense? Or just rambling a little bit?
Absolutely. I feel like to anchor in the new earth, we have to teach ourselves the way we're teaching the children. And that's hard, because we're working double time, like unlearning and then anchoring in these new ways of being on a cellular ancestral healing level. So I commend you for doing that work. And yeah, I look forward to it when the babies come, kind of. I do. I think it's a huge mission of mine as well, to really do things differently. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. That's why I do the things that I do, because it's not, I was here to disrupt patterns. That's like a very true soul contract to just be, to disrupt the patterns, and also to allow people to feel safe as they disrupt their own patterns and their networks. Um, and I love that. And I think it's really important to cater to the little ones too.
I'm feeling it's a really beautiful space to transition into your work with Mary Magdalene and the Magdalene frequencies and, the rising of this energy on Earth at this time. If you would like to speak a little bit about that.
Yes, she is incredible and just such a beacon of unconditional love. Like it's really amazing how my life keeps pointing towards these pillars of unconditional love, like Cacao and then Mary Magdalene. I've had such a Catholic upbringing. I went to Catholic school for the first 16 years of my life, and um, and then just really not feeling super attached to the church and the way that it was led through a patriarchal lens. Um, and felt really lost in my own journey of spirituality, and then discovered this divine feminine lens of things. I was like, yeah, where are all the women? Like let's get them out to share their wisdom. And again, I was just really blessed with a lot of teachers, like right off the bat, speaking the things that my soul always wanted to hear. Around my own power. Like I always felt like I had an effect on people, which is how we understand to be powerful, and it didn't resonate that we were unworthy and powerless. And there was, like it just, a lot of the teachings didn't resonate until I started to understand this divine feminine lens of like, you have the divinity within you to be a powerful force of nature. And it starts with your womb, like the void, the portal of creation of all life, And yeah, it started with cycle syncing and like getting to know myself on a deeper level. And cacao is a huge part of that as well. Like the subtleties. That's the feminine. The feminine lives in the subtle, in the dark, in the shadows, like it's not outward like the masculine. It's not obvious. It's not hanging off our bodies, like it's so funny, the polarity. And yeah, there's just been such a journey, and Magdalene's been there every step of the way. And I just always I loved Jesus. Like I always felt such a beautiful call to his work and the miracles, like just the idea of a miracle, like things that didn't make sense but happen. I'm like, yeah, that I like that. Like you can leave all your science behind. Like this is cool. And I study, like I have a bachelor's in science, so it's like I love the sciencey piece too, and to marry it with the unknown and the metaphysical and the quantum, like it just lit me up from every cell. And so deepening like these studies and these rememberings of like Jesus and Mary Magdalene were the unconditional, like the beacon of unconditional love in relationship. And as a married woman now, like that means so much to me, how we not only do we need to unconditionally love ourselves into wholeness and healing, because every angle of our culture wants us not to do that. In our marriage, like how do we help heal our men or our partners? um I have a husband, so I'll look through that lens, but it's just so amazing to watch my unconditional love heal him in indirect ways. There's a beautiful practice that we do. I'm trained in Magdalene Reiki, and I'll just touch him like gently. Reiki is a very subtle, energetic healing practice, and then through the Magdalene lens, it's just so much extra fiery and sexual. Like there's such a sensual part of the healing, um, and I love that, and he loves that, and it's just so it just feels like an exhale and a lift of a weight, like the pressure is lifted. And to watch him, my husband is an incredible man. He's super strong. He holds our little family together, and he's a sole provider at the moment. And like, I mean, breadwinner. I keep saying I want to be the breadwinner, soon come. But he just does so much in the masculine realm. And I'm just so proud of him for really anchoring in this like 3D masculine. And I feel that crushing weight of like what he thinks he needs to do. And when we do these, ancient practices, there's such a release. And it's him shifting out of the 3D into the 5D. And it's the most incredible thing to witness, like someone that I love so deeply to just transcend in that way that I couldn't make him do. Like he's choosing, but I'm holding the space. It's it's magic. It's profound and it's ancient wisdom. So yeah, there's just a lot of beautiful teachings and experiences like that. And also another powerful thread of the Magdalene wisdom is like our sisterhood, like sisters, women coming together and healing in community is so, so necessary. And again, there's a call for more of that, and it's happening. And again, it speaks to that piece of like, but I don't feel like people around here are really ready. And on a deep level, they are, or else I wouldn't have landed here. Like there's something here for me because I do love in-person sessions. The energy is just palpable, and you really have powerful transformations when you can be in person and witness people and their beings, because it has to happen on a physical level. We can meditate all we want, but if we're not feeling it on a physical level, it's not going to be fully embodied. So this sisterhood piece of healing these wounds of, competing against each other, comparing, all of the whatever energetics are there. There's stories of separation that need to be lifted. And that happens through like women's circles and community and listening with open ears and open hearts to women and what they're going through, which is like a more approachable way to work with like that Magdalene energy. But yeah, it's profound. It's really special.
You touched on some really, really beautiful, like everything you've been saying is beautiful, but there are certain things I would love to hone in on a little bit more and anchor in for myself and our listeners. And, well, one thing I have a question for you is, are you familiar with the work of Regina Tomschauer, Mama Gina?
Oh,
Yeah.
Mama. Mama
Yeah.
Gina. That was actually the catalyst. I read
Okay.
Pussy and was
Yeah.
just like, whoa, that was one of the very beginnings of like the journey. Her work is incredible.
It is, yeah. And because when you said sister goddess, I was like, you
Ooh.
sound like Mama Gina. And for my journey and experience, there was a place, a big free summit in New York City that I went to of hers, a 3-day summit. And it was the first time in my life I had ever walked into a room with that many women and just felt so much love, because up until that point, I'm trained into jealousy. You have to be against each other unless you're in the group, and like all the hierarchy, the cattiness. And up until that point, I don't think I ever really felt safe around women besides close friends. But extending beyond my circle, it was like, no, that is there. There is a boundary there. And walking into that room with hundreds and hundreds of women, and they were all like, yes, you're beautiful. Like, if people I didn't know, just the energy, it was a paradigm shift of, wow, this is possible. This is amazing. What a breakthrough it was. And now I kind of forget that time because I've worked on that a lot, and all of the environments that I cultivate is really about sacred sisterhood. So I almost forget that there was a time in my life where I didn't actually feel that way, that there was this deep scarring and fear around women, and still actually, honestly, recognizing some of the emotions I've been going through the past 2 or 3 days, there is this feeling of like, oh, wait, okay, this is actually still a scarring of like the sister wound, and recognizing that that lives really deep. And when we look at mythology as well, especially Greek mythology, my daughter's really into like the Percy Jackson series and like all the Greek gods. So we're going Greek, Roman, the Norse gods. And the mythology of that is just so, like, the real mythology is so cutthroat. The men are always raping all the people, like all the women, the animals, whatever it is. And then they're cheating on each other. And then it's the women who are pegged on each other. So it's like, Hera's mad at all of the other women because Zeus is sleeping with the other goddesses or mortals. And there's so much of our history and stories that are just entrenched in the paradigm of the man is in the right for what he does, and the woman is now jealous because it's the other woman's fault. And I feel like I've seen it so much in the stories that I've grown up in and grown up with, and just recognizing, oh, wait, there's some accountability that has to be taken in these spaces, and recognizing that this is not a legitimate stance, I guess, to take, or finding that the words that really are sitting well. But yeah, the space of that sister wound that comes in, of recognizing, wait, no, we're sisters here. It's safe. It's safe to be with other women. And part of my healing journey and, anger that I've moved through against the patriarchy, the systems, and looking at the very insidious ways that it has worked, and seeing that that's another way of disempowering is, the separation. Because when women come together, it's powerful. And there's remembrance that is awakened. When women connect in with their cycles, these parts of ourselves, like Mama Gina talks about, vagina, yoni, like there's actually no anatomically correct word for pussy or vagina, whatever it is. There's, you have your labia, your vulva, but nothing that really encapsulates the entirety of what this part of us is. So we're stripped of that language, and then also stripped of the sisterhood, stripped of our connection to our womb space, feeling like it's dirty or something that's evil, gross. And now coming into this time of the remembrance of sacred pleasure, of the Magdalene, of Mama Cacao, also bringing in this healing, there's just, I don't know where I'm going with that, but there's like so much magic that's happening now in this healing, in these conversations, and with the women that I'm meeting, of like, yeah, like, screw the old way.
Yeah.
Let's connect. Yeah.
It's so time to rise up in connection as sisters. And it's so interesting as you were saying all of that. I went to an all girls Catholic school, and there was just the fact that I went to an all girls Catholic school, like there were so many dynamics and cliques and things. Like I had an incredible group of friends and a great experience overall, but that's not everyone's story. Like I have other friends there that have horrible memories of that environment, of the clickiness, of the pettiness and exclusion and, making fun of people. Like it just, that's so prevalent. And then in college, I joined a sorority. Like I've always wanted to be with women. Like I was seeking out the sisterhood, and I have two sisters of my own. And it's like everything about my life is sisters, and it's so interesting that now my life is taking this journey into a deeper sisterhood, and how, like bringing that depth to relationship in a sister relationship, and healing the wounds that are there. And it doesn't even have to be from this lifetime. It can be like ancestrally passed down, because there's plenty to work with there for across the board. And, it's just so interesting how that really is there's such a call to heal that sister wound. And the way we do that is to get in community more and more and more and more, and just dissolve and process that pain, integrate it really, and also to fill our banks with more good, happy memories, like good experiences that promote healthy sisterhood. So, yeah, I am so here. I'm so here for all the good sister times. And like, how can we bring sexual healing into those sister circles? Like, that's the next piece. Like, it's my dream. I will be witnessed here. This is my dream to incorporate education for young women, like healthy sexuality and sensuality, like through a Magdalene lens, to our younger girls. Because if it's in like Mama Gina's work, if young girls experience that wisdom, what a shift into adulthood. Like, there would be so much more empowerment and choice and pleasure, like so much better connection and community, if this wisdom that we know now, like in our 20s and 30s, are there in our teens. Like, I can't even imagine a world. I dream of a world, It's just powerful. And then those young women bring the young men, like call forward power in young men and empower them to be better and full of their full expression, instead of the awkwardness and whatever happens when we're teens, like what a shift out of the taboo of sexuality into more empowerment and embodiment of our innate gift of sexuality. Like, that would be such a dream come true. And that's really, that's a deeper level of what my mission is here, which will come probably when I have kids around teen age. Again, God help me. But that's such a huge piece of anchoring in this new earth. It's the way that we sex, the way that we express our sexuality and sensuality. Because again, as Mama Gina talks about, it's the way we view the world and our turn on, like before sex happens, like, are you feeling alive? Like, how alive are your cells, or is your body when the breeze blows your hair? Like, those are the key moments, that the building blocks that need to be anchored before the other more intimate, like, complexities of sensuality. And it just lights me up so much. I can't believe you did a program with her. I'm so jealous. That's incredible. Actually, my sister, my biological sister, did one as well, and just spoke so highly of it. That's incredible. We all need to be in those environments, in those rooms.
Yeah. And remembering, pussy power, the power of that, the energy there. And I do remember, she would say a lot, all right, ready? Like, I'm going to tell this story, root down into your pussy, like ground down. Make sure you're coming from the space, because when we're not connected to our root, to our grounding space within ourselves, our power, we go into fear, we can imbalance ourselves really quickly. And just even that simple practice of placing our awareness right there, like the perineum, and allowing that energy to flow down. So now we're anchored. We're coming from a space of connection. And I think this, what you spoke about, of the, how alive are you before you're even engaging in making love and an intimate connection. And that comes from safety, right? From that space of feeling safe enough to even perceive the breeze, safe enough to even enjoy this meal that I'm having right now, and safe enough within myself. How am I showing up here? I love your vision. Like, I wish, yes, I'm holding that vision of the future with all of our beautiful children growing up empowered, our girls growing up into women who know themselves, who can make empowered choices and knowledgeable choices for themselves. It's also that conversation with the boys, you know, the men, like you were saying, the role of the feminine, because it's, yeah, the conversation I had with the previous guest, she's all about divine feminine embodiment too. Her perspective is the feminine's been rising for a while now, and now the divine masculine is beginning to wake up and come online. There aren't that many real archetypes for our men to even know how to embody. What does the divine masculine look like and show up in our modern world? What role models do we have in that regard? And the standards that are still placed on men, even just in the relationships with the friends that I've had who were boys growing up, and I was like, wow, I grew up in a very different reality, like in regards to relating to relationship to my own sexuality, and just like what they were taught, what was said to them, even from their parent, from their dad. And I was like, oh my God, this is like so fucked up. Like, no judgment, but wow, this conversation needs to shift. Like, this is not how we want to be raising our boys. Let's have respect for women. Let's also seed that within and the sovereignty, the self-sovereignty, that we're not just at whims to our hormonal experience, that we actually have the capability to harness the power, the life force, the ancient technology of, you know, semen retention or whatever it is that brings that kundalini online, brings the chi within the sacred vessel. And now we can use it and wield it with intention. I'm very passionate about these subjects. So.
So it shall be. So it shall be. Holding these visions of calling our young ones forward into greatness from a young age. And I feel like the generations coming in know that that's their contract and their missions, you know, like they're here for it. And we, as the older generations, need to, like you said, set those examples and be embodied present day role models of what that looks like. Healthy relationships with yourself, with your sensuality, with your partners, you know. It's just so lacking. And there is awakening there too, you know. It's happening, and I'm looking forward to the continuation of it, especially with the men, because I agree, the women have really, like, the last 5 years have been monumental for like feminine awakening, and the feminine always goes first. So I feel like now it's time for more masculine awakening. And I'm hearing so many of my like magical sister goddesses, like their husbands, and I'm seeing my husband, and I'm like, yeah, they're feeling it. Like they're in these sticky situations and they're just ready to break free and like up level in a big way for themselves, for their families, for their queens. Like all of it is so prevalent, and yeah, and it's time, they're ready, and it's so exciting.
I'm enjoying this conversation, and I really hope it stimulates also, you know, that introspection within self too, for our listeners, of the spaces of how we relate to ourselves within this world, how we relate to women and sisters and friends, and how we relate to our men. And as a man, how we relate to our women. As you were speaking, there are a few times I keep on seeing this vision of, you know, the work that we're doing right now, allowing ourselves to really take compassion for what the amount that we're doing. And I keep on seeing this vision of, it's like erase, 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 cut, 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 clear this, sew this up, close all these doors, and now start to create and guide here and create. And then as we're doing that, we're getting rid of this. Okay, that's outdated. We get rid of that. Plant this stuff, plant that stuff here. And then we take a few steps more with our little ones, creating along the way. And it's like, there's a lot that we're tending to, past, present, like all around us. And just, you know, Right. You can take a second, a few minutes a day and just be like, okay, it's a lot. It's okay.
Yeah. I love that visual. I love that visual so much because these women that are like hot on the path of healing are ninjas. Like that's exactly what's happening. Like we're holding so much and then putting more pressure that we need to do more. And it's like, I love that. Like just honor, and that's the compassion piece again. Like, honey, you are working so hard. Take a bath, treat yourself, like have some cacao, light a candle, smell the roses. Like you are enough. And there's time, you know, I, there's time for all of it. I am so notorious on the island. I would always talk about feeling divine urgency. And that was like my curse. I was like, we got to do all this stuff now and, erase and all the things. And time is an illusion and things happen quantumly. So whenever we have the bandwidth to really go there, it updates, and we don't need to be on this rushed timeline because that's a trauma response. I come from a long lineage of like rushing women, and that's anxiety rearing its ugly head, and just being able to ground in the truth that I can accomplish everything I'm meant to accomplish here, just grounding in that wisdom that it will happen. And actually, when I am more aligned, it'll all happen more easily. If we can wrap our heads around that. It's just so funny. And again, it's just part of the human journey. Like I tie all myself in all these knots, and it's just so funny to, witness after the fact, but it's part of it. It's part of the journey. And I really think it's important to say for our listeners and for ourselves, because we're working hard doing all these incredible things, one step at a time. Like one small aligned step is a huge step, and really trusting in like that we know the right next step. I have a teacher who says, like when we're driving at night and the fog is out and you can only see like 10 feet in front of you, that's by design. You're not meant to see the whole road, the whole destination in front of you laid out. Like it's strengthening your trust, and that you will always know what's in front of you, what's that right next step, and having faith in that, and knowing that you'll always be guided, and even if you don't have that long-term vision or that big, grand scheme of things, like it's always right there in front of you. So just keep walking and holding that for yourself.
Such beautiful, beautiful wisdom. And really feeling that in the mystery of the mist is such a powerful teacher. I used to go to my local park, which is right by the bay, and I would go there every morning for sunrise, and I had my cacao or my gayusa, and I'd make my offerings to the waters and just, take in the energy. And one time it was foggy. It was really, really foggy, and I was like, I'm not going to see the sunrise. Like, why bother? Go. And I was like, no, go, go, show up. And I did. And I have to say that was one of the most magical times, because the wisdom that came through that, first of all, feeling the stillness of the water. And then I couldn't rely on my eyes, the vision. I'm not taking in visual cues, but that's when all my other senses began to come online. And it's like, oh, I'm not here to see. I'm here to feel. I'm here to listen. I'm here to sense and just be in this not knowing, not seeing. And that is something that's imprinted in me like so deeply. That space of, okay, I don't need to see, just allowing whatever the mist has to teach us, for whatever metaphor that is. Yeah.
I love that. It's so powerful. That's such powerful medicine for the culture that we live in too, because we heavily rely on our eyes and our brains when it's all of the senses that lead us and our hearts that lead us. Like that's the heart is so much more powerful than the mind, and um, there's so much research about that. Like the heart is like a grandfather clock that syncs every electromagnetic field to the heart. And we rely on the mind, the brain, as the control center, which it is in a way. And it will serve us to trust the heart as the control center too. Like the mind will work the way it should because it's nature. And we really need to start relying on the heart and exactly like you were saying, like pull back on the seeing, especially in this oracular awakening time, really pulling back on like the physical seeing and enter into more of the felt sense. It's so powerful. It's something that wants to come through me right now is the more on like the Mama Gina realm of like working with a yoni egg. If anyone's ever done that, that's such a powerful way to ignite the felt sense because when you hold the egg in your hand, there's so many receptors in your fingers and in your hands, so many more than you have in your pussy. And what the yoni egg helps to understand is more sensation awareness. Like you're not going to necessarily feel it the way you do in your hands, but you're just going to feel that like bubbly sensation of like presence, and how beautiful that is to bring so much awareness in those lower chakras that we often shut off. I kept saying when we moved, I was like, I feel like my root chakra has been obliterated and like I just need to put it back together. And I've been working with a yoni egg and it's just been, I mean, it's excruciating because I've detached so much from those centers in a way as like self-preservation to feel because it was so painful to feel. And now I'm like, well, I need to feel for this to really fully work its way out. And it's just been such an incredible practice too. So I want to speak that here because if anyone's curious, there's a really lovely teacher, Layla Martin. Are you familiar with Layla?
Yep.
She's awesome and super
Yeah.
approachable, and she just has such a welcoming way about her as well. And I think she's doing a program around like just the beginnings of working with a yoni egg. So highly recommend
Yeah.
all the things around that.
And yeah, that space of feeling again in the lower area. I feel like for most of my life, I'm living from here, from the neck up. And it's like, wait, I have this whole other part of my body that is so numb. And just allowing, like, for me, what really helped a lot is like that shaking, coming into opening up the hips, really the hip openers, strengthening the legs, and feeling like, oh, wow, I have power in my body. I can use my body and I feel strong. Strengthening my core. That's like when, when I'm feeling crappy. And I like haven't exercised in a while, and then I come back to exercise and I really engage my core and I'm like using my legs. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a different person because now my spine feels longer, my shoulders just open more naturally because that heat has been activated.
I love that. I always say I love fitness, and that's been such a powerful catalyst on my spiritual journey. Like physical strength brings so much mental strength and clarity. And I always say, like, if you think you're fit, do Kundalini yoga because it will humble you to the strongest athlete. Like it builds those centers to be strong, like a strong navel center. And yeah, it is powerful.
Yeah.
It really, when I do Kundalini yoga, I feel like I'm really using my body the way that it was meant to be used. like
Yeah.
like chakras forward, like strength and power, like all of the wave and all of it. Like it's just working the way that that it was intended to. So yeah, that's a powerful practice too. If anyone else is needing alignment or strength, power.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. But be prepared with a disclaimer for transformation and emotions and everything that comes with the initiation.
Your life will change.
I want to know what you feel is Cacao's mission at this time on Earth.
Well, I think Cacao's mission at this time is to soften all of the calcified walls of the heart. I think so many people are afraid or have fear or doubt in their hearts. And I just see Cacao with that Kali energy just kind of helping to bring healthy healthy destruction to the heart, the hardening around our hearts, because that's what creates the story of separation and perpetuates it. And once we realize that we're here together to help each other, we're gonna be on the new earth. That's what it is.
One of my favorite questions I like to ask people these days is, what is your favorite thing about being human at this time?
Eating yummy food. Taste buds. Yeah, I've had to really start falling in love with being human after just having such excruciating feelings and emotions so regularly. And I've been loving like eating the foods of like my childhood, and my mom and dad lived near here. So like just home cooked, I've come from a very big Italian family. So we would do Sunday dinner with like all 50 of my cousins every week. And, there'd be like dozens of meatballs and all the things, and just communing around food and just there's such a sacredness around that and coming together and nourishing our bodies, like that. If we're not taking care of our humanness, like we're not going to exist. Like we need to eat the food, we need to sleep, we need to drink the water and the cacao. And just, like really on a simplified level, like take care of ourselves. So I've been really, really connecting with food recently, and it's been so fun.
I love that. Yes, yes, yes. In our house, we love to yum our food before, instead of, a prayer, we just go yum, yum. And then sometimes we'll just do yum, 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 like whatever comes through. And we just like beam our energy into our food and just sing yum.
I love that.
And sometimes like my daughter will be like, we didn't yum our food. Or like, did you yum it? Yeah, it was pre-yummed.
It was pretty. Oh, that's such a beautiful practice.
That's a lot of fun. It's fun to add like the lighter spiritual practices to the daily ritual.
Absolutely.
As a part of the tradition of this podcast, we have the previous guest leave a blessing for our current guest. So I would love to share the blessing that was left for you and for all of our listeners as well. This is pure mana, just of the source from the heart of this being pouring to you. So just opening yourself up to receive.
I am here, beloved, to remind you that you are so loved, that the earth is holding you, that mother is holding you, and that you have precious, precious magic within you that she is longing to see expressed and shared in the unique way that only you can. She is here through me reminding you to trust your unfolding. You are already wired, right? Created, designed to grow into your full expression. All the guideposts, all the signals already within you. So just trust. And we have a kitty blessing too. Trust in your unfolding sweet soul, and share your magic in the unique way that only you can, for you are loved and appreciated and so, so needed in the world.
So beautiful.
Healing balm from my heart. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for the kitty blessing. It's funny when you said that, I thought of like Sekhmet, like a lion. I mean, everything about me is like fierce today. I have my fuego cacao. Maybe that's why. There's just like a different energetic happening, but it's, yeah. So that was such a beautiful gift too. Wow. Thank you.
If you feel called to share a blessing for our next guest, you can, and if you prefer to write it, we can also do it that way. But if you feel ready and called to share right now, it would be beautiful to receive that.
I'd love to. Pay it forward. The song wants to come through. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. May you be a sanctuary for all those needing your beautiful magic and medicine. May you open up your heart even wider to allow the miracles and blessings to flow into you and out to those who you serve. Thank you for your presence here. You are safe to be seen, and you are so cherished. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Blessed One.
Thank you. So beautiful. And you said that the blessing that you received was healing balm, and all I kept on feeling during the call is just like your presence is just this beautiful healing balm. It's been such a beautiful connection and so nourishing and rich and very healing for me. Yeah. So thank you for the time that you've offered here, the wisdom for our listeners and for the space. And if there's any last things you'd like to share before we close up, we'd love to hear you.
Thank you. This has been such a gift. I've been, I just love sharing what's true and alive for me. And that's so special to be able to be received and witnessed and find connection in that and real true alignment with another sister goddess and many more maybe. This has been so incredible for me as well. So I'm just so blessed and always humbled to stumble into these beautiful containers and just feel like I receive so much even when I'm giving too. So it's such a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And thank you to Mama Cacao for really dropping us into the heart plane and meeting there and just having all of this beautiful wisdom streaming through. I'm so in awe of what comes through me every time. So I'm just, feeling really blessed. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I know that I'm sure there are listeners that want to connect with you, and I'll make sure to put your information so that they can get it. But what is the best way to contact you right now, and the best way to reach you for people who want to try Sacred Sip Cacao and maybe go to your in-person circles?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I would love to connect. Yes. sacredsipscacao.com is where you can find our cacao. Here's our little, I don't know if you can see it. You can't. But we have beautiful cacao, 100% cacao, as well as different infusions as well, 2 different flavor infusions. And they're just so beautiful. One's kind of a more feminine, divine feminine infusion, and then one's more of a masculine infusion. I had the masculine today, which is so funny because we were just oozing divine feminine. And that's part of the balance, Really, I love it. So, check that out. I'll also give you a coupon discount code too. Sacred Leader is a great one for a little discount on cacao if you want to try our siplets. And so there's some really cool stuff on there. And then my personal offerings and branding, more ceremony, more yoga offerings will be on Steph with Love, stephwithlove.com. And that's also my Instagram handle is steph.withlove. So I can't wait to connect, and I'm so grateful to be here. And I look forward to more outward expression. I've taken quite a few months just to tend to my own self and my heart, and now I feel like it's really time to show up again and share some of the wisdom that I learned in my my cocoon of healing. So I'm excited.
Well, I can't wait to hear the wisdom that comes through as you begin to share more and more about your journey. And yes, thank you again. So allowing ourselves to begin to close space as we just beam our love to Steph, thanking her for her presence, for her wisdom, and allowing yourself to continue to be nourished in this moment. Feeling maybe the cacao flowing through you, maybe new thoughts, new ideas, new inspirations, new sensations, and then calling in the energy from yourself to begin to integrate. And integration is such a vital process when we agitate our energy through any kind of movement, be it thought or energetic, that we stir up through our voices, through our hearts, through our presence, through our movement. And just allowing there to be a time within your space that you consciously integrate. Taking the time to receive and digest. Taking the time to breathe deeply. So whatever you need in this moment to create more space around you so that the new ideas that find you may be churned within you, planted within you, and then become your own as you find your voice on this journey. And from this space of love, of connection, of reverence, of humility, we give thanks to the heart of the earth. Bringing our awareness up above, we give thanks to the heart of the sky and the cosmic wisdom. Bringing our awareness to the left, we give thanks to the waters, the heart of the waters. And bringing our awareness to the right, we give thanks to the heart of the fires. Bringing our awareness all around us and taking a deep, deep breath in. And exhaling as we give thanks to the heart of the air, the breath that supports us in every moment, and connecting inward as we give thanks to the heart of ether and the heart of the void, and connecting in with the beautiful spirit of Mama Cacao. We give thanks to this beautiful sacred medicine, this medicine that grows for us, to awaken us, to empower us, and to teach us to love and see each other, see ourselves with deep love and compassion. And may all of this integrate and weave into your lives with such beauty and joy and ease and grace in a way that delights your mind, body, and spirit. And so it is. And it is done, it is done, it is done. And it is fun, it is fun, it is fun. Thank you for journeying with us today and for witnessing the story and the spirit behind Sacred Sips Cacao. May Steph's devotion remind you that the heart is always guiding, that healing is possible and connection is sacred, and that Cacao is here to walk with us gently through it all. If you feel called to explore her offerings, you can visit her website, sacredsipscacao.com, and you can follow her on Instagram at Sacred Sips. If you would like to receive 15% off of your cacao purchase, use the code Sacred Leadership as a little blessing for your path from our hearts to yours. And if this conversation nourished you, feel free to subscribe, share it with a friend, or simply let it ripple through your next moments of stillness. And if you'd like to support the show and quite literally buy us a cup of cacao, you can follow the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Just know that it goes straight towards fueling more cacao-infused conversations like this one. As always, thank you for being a part of this circle. May your next sip be sacred and your heart stay open to all of the magic all around. Until next time.